नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राम माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजनरञ्जना, जय यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजनरञ्जना, जय यमुनातीरवनचारी, जय कुञ्ज बिहारी, जय कुञ्ज बिहारी, जय यमुनातीरवनचारी, जय कुञ्ज बिहारी, जय कुञ्ज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। श्री राधा माधव की जय। अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभात की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. I hope I'm audible. Gaurahari, all glories to the assembled
Hare
devotees.
Krishna Mataji, yes Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. Today we have been assigned to discuss a very um, important canto, the most special canto of all in the Srimad Bhagwatam. So definitely gearing up for the upcoming uh, beautiful festival of Damodar month. We have today Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, verse 11 and 12. So you may guess what the chapter 9 is about. It is entitled Mother Yashoda Binds Lord Krishna. um, Everyone knows the Leela, everyone knows what happens, and still every year, no matter what happens, year after year, even if you are reading the exact same chapter, same chapter, even if you're reading on a daily basis throughout the month of Damodar Leela, or even if you're hearing the exact same Leela over and over again on a daily basis from the lotus mouth of purest of devotees, we are still able to relish it. That is one of the most unique aspect or feature of the glories of the Lord. The the quality of relishment never destroys, never diminishes. No matter what you try to consume or use in this material world or in this platform, everything has an expiry date. Everything, um, you stop enjoying it. And as we can say, or as you know, the modern world people say, oh, I just got bored with it, you know. But here is a whole another story. It's a whole another scene is reversed. The quality that we can feel, that it is everlasting. And we realize that the Lord, His qualities, His fame, His names, His pastimes, everything about the Lord is eternal because of this one feature, that you can always continue to relish whatever it is related to Krishna. Um, Even if we are not on the spiritual platform. So, if we are here in this material world with whatever conditions we are bound by and whatever contamination we are uh, afflicted with, still we can relish, still we can keep chanting, still we can keep enjoying the same pastime, even if you're here. Uh, so, then how would it be? How would we be feeling if we are back with Krishna in his dham? How would that be? Because what happens there, all these leelas keep happening again and again, and there are much more many leelas that we don't know of. But whatever Srimad Bhagavatam describes, the pastimes of the Lord, that those pastimes keep happening on repeat. It never stops happening, and hence, we can realize that all this is eternal and relishable all the time, for time immemorial, no matter who uh, comes to hear, who chooses to hear the pastimes of the Lord, and no matter where they are coming from, in what status or situation they are in, anyone can relish the Lord's pastimes. So, thank you all for joining. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. So we shall go ahead and recite the invocation prayers and dive straight into today's shlokas. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पञ्चहागतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 ओम तत्सत् मम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय बुद्धले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे Thank you all for joining. I'll be sharing the screen for chapter 9, and this chapter needs no introduction. I hope I'm audible. If there's something, please let me know. This chapter needs no introduction. We all know where we are heading towards, but certain sweet, what do you say, in details, the beauty is in the details of things. So here Shukdev Goswami is explaining in this chapter how the pastime unfolds, and there are of course two parts to the pastime. One is where the Lord being bound by Yashodhama, and the other part is the history or the past of the two Arjuna Yamala trees. And here we can see how the scene is beautifully described. Imagine, uh, we are getting an insight into the daily life of the Lord through this chapter or through all these chapters. But look at how Srila Shruti Goswami says, Hare Krishna. I'll be reading. Jagannath. Okay. Thank you. So here we are seeing the scene is opening, and here Yashodama is one day. All her maids are engaged in other households, so she personally begins to churn the yogurt, and she's remembering Krishna's small, cute, beautiful pastimes, and she's on her own. She's composing songs. No one then used to write songs about Krishna. They were also competent and full of devotion that they were naturally poets, that they could make songs on the spot and sing what their heart wants to, right? So she's enjoying remembering those pastimes, singing about these pastimes in a beautiful poetic manner, and relishing that same, song version of her Lala's pastimes. She's wearing a yellow saffron sari. Uh, she's completely dead. She's the queen, and she is filled with love for Krishna, and she's working hard on churning butter. And apparently, she has never done this before, though she knows she has enough maid servants to do whatever she wants to get done in the house. And so that day, she was engaged. She's in the physical labor of making butter, churning butter for Krishna, no one else. And we see how baby Krishna comes, and he stops her from churning. Focus on me. uh, Churning is all that fine. I know that is also for me, but I want my milk from you. So stop churning. This is my time. You have to focus on me. Give me your attention. And here, suddenly, Mata understands that the milk that she has also kept for her baby is also boiling there, and that's ready to overflow and get destroyed. So she had to put down her son, and here Krishna gets angry, and we know how Krishna breaks the pot that she was working on, and he runs around, walks off, he goes and gets into the already prepared yogurt and butter, breaks all that pot so effortlessly. He can do anything that he wants. He's climbing over these tall mortar and pestle and climbing over the pots, figuring out his nice ways to break the pots, not just pick one pot and give. He wants to express his anger that he was not satisfied. No one was from whom he wanted the attention, gave her attention to some milk and not him. uh, and seeing all this, she caused and he's distributing it to monkeys. Even if it were his friends or he personally having, because his hunger was not satisfied, would make more sense, but this is giving it to the monkeys. And of course Mata caught up, but now it was the whole scene of chasing the supreme personality of Godhead. And that's where we are here today, where finally Krishna is caught by Mata after again she had to run behind him. She's a little hefty in her weight that she becomes extremely tired. Her hair is all loosened up and the flowers were falling, but still she did not fail to capture her son Krishna. So today we'll be going through text 11 and 12. You may repeat uh, after me. Hare Krishna. कृतागसं तं प्ररुदन्तम् अक्षिणी
कृतागसन्तं प्ररुदन्तमक्षिणी
कषन्तम् अञ्जम् मशिनी स्वपाणिना
कषन्तम् अञ्जन् मशिन् स्वपानिना
उद्वीक्षमाणं भयविह्वलेक्षणम्
उद्वीक्षमाणं भयविह्वलेक्षणम्
हस्ते गृहीत्वा भीषयन्त्यवागुरत्
हस्ते गृहीत्वा भीषयन्त्यवागुर.
Anyone can repeat, and you can read the shloka. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I?
Yes. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
कृतागसं तं प्ररुदन्तम् अक्षिणी कषन्तम् अञ्जन् मसिनी स्वपानिना उद्वीक्षमाणं भयविह्वलेक्षणं हस्ते गृहीत्वा विषयन्ति अवागुरत्. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Mataji, 1 second. Can we just go with the word-to-word translation? Hold on, Mataji. Definitely you can read the translation, but first we will go. Please repeat after me the word-to-word translation. Hare Krishna. Translation. Word-to-word translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhijana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krita Agasam.
Krita Agasam.
Who was an offender?
Was an offender.
Tam unto Krishna.
Tam unto Krishna.
Prarudantam.
Prarudantam.
With a crying attitude.
With a crying attitude.
Akshini, his two eyes.
Akshini, his two eyes.
Kashantam rubbing.
Kashantam rubbing.
Anjat Mashini, from whose eyes?
Ajnat Mashini, From whose eyes
the blackish ointment was distributed all over his face with tears.
the
the
blackish
blackish ointment was distributed all over his face
with
with
tears.
tears.
Panina with his own hand.
Swapanina
Swapanina with his own hand.
Udvikshamanam,
Udvikshamanam,
who was seen in that attitude by his mother, by Mother Yashoda.
who
who
was
was
seen
seen in
was
that
seen
attitude by Mother
by
Yashoda.
Yashoda.
Bhaya Vihvala Ikshanam.
Bhaya
Bhaya Vikvala Ikshanam,
Whose eyes appeared distressed because of such fear of his mother.
whose eyes appeared distressed
because
because
of
of such
fear
fear of his mother.
Haste by the hand.
stay by
Haste by the hand.
Grihitva catching.
Grihitva catching.
Bhishyanti, Mother Yashoda was threatening him.
Bhishyanti, Mother Yashoda was threatening him.
Avagurat, and thus she very mildly chastised him.
Avagurat. Thus, she very mildly chastised him. Hare Krishna.
Translation. Sudha Mataji, you can please read the translation.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When caught by Mother Yashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. As she looked upon him, she saw that he was crying, his tears mixing with the black ointment around his eyes, and as he rubbed his eyes with his hands, he smeared the ointment all over his face. Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to chastise him. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Krishnamurti, Prabhu, if you can read the purport. We shall follow you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Purport by Bhakti Vedanta Prabhu Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhu. Am I right, Mataji?
Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. From these dealings between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, we can understand the exalted position of a poor devotee in loving service to the Lord. Yogis, Jnanis, Karmis, and Vedantists cannot even approach Krishna. They must remain very, very far away from him and try to enter his bodily effulgence. Although this also they are unable to do. Great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva always worship the Lord by meditation and by service. Even the most powerful Yamaraja fears Krishna. Therefore, as we find in the history of Ajamila, Yamaraja instructed his followers not even to approach the devotees. What to speak of capturing him? In other words, Yamaraja also fears Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Yet this Krishna became a dependent on Mother Yashoda that when she simply showed Krishna the stick in her hand, Krishna admitted to being an offender and began to cry like an ordinary child. Mother Yashoda, of course, did not want to chastise her beloved child very much. And therefore, she immediately threw a stick away and simply rebuked Krishna, saying, "Now I shall bind you, so that you cannot commit any further offensive activities, nor for the time being." Little bit scroll, Mataji, of course.
Yes, sure. Let me just lower. Yeah.
Nor for the time being can you play with your playmates. This shows the position of a pure devotee. In contrast with others, like Jnanis, Yogis, and the followers of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, in regarding the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we shall break down and then go ahead in a flow to the next shloka. But as of now, please, Chitra Mataji, we will read together the next shloka. We have one more shloka to cover. So please raise your hand then also in case this wipes out. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. So this is such a nice way, as I was saying, that we get a view into the Lord's daily activities, isn't it? And here uh, how Yashoda Mata is towards her son. She, in the next shloka, it's very nicely described how Srila Prabhupada says that she doesn't care if he's the Lord of the universe. All that she can see and all that she knows is that this is her son. And His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj says that we have to take inspiration. We have to learn from how Mother Yashoda does her service as a mother towards the Lord. This is the way we have to learn from. But for her, this is not a seva. This is nothing but pure love. This is her life that we are getting to view. You know, how she is taking care of her child, giving him love in every perspective, focusing on every aspect of how to take care of her beloved son. There's nothing else that runs in her mind except Krishna, 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 isn't it? So here he does something, and a very big word is used, Krita Agasam, who was an offender. And in terms when we are in terms of practitioners of bhakti yoga, or those who are trying to practice with devotional service, aparad or offense is such a huge, heavy, hefty word. But here Krishna is an offender in the eyes of Yashodama. Why? Because he has become a thief. He has stolen something, and stealing is fine. She has been getting complaints from other mothers in the village, but this time he destroyed some stuff. He caused some damage to the property, and this was a bad offense. We are all victims of, not victims, we have all witnessed how our parents also have uh, shouted us, chastised us for destroying something. You know, one toy we have might be expensive, we pull it, rip it off, and that's it, no more toy, right? Same thing, she's running behind him with a stick trying to catch him. And and there are so many details, even though it's just a four-lined translation and one paragraph of purport. There's so much here, but Srila Prabhupada focuses on the exalted position of Yashodama, which will come back to. But here I would like to pick one point, which is chastisement, and it is something that we have to focus on, or we keep aside, because chastisement is important. We must have heard of this story. I'm pretty sure, I don't know the details or if it is even Vedic reference, but we know the story of a mother who never rebuked her son, who turned out to become a very wrongful um, person in the society. He became a thief and he did everything bad possible. Finally, he was caught, and he was sentenced to death. And before that, he was asked if he would want to see any family relative. He said, yes, I'd like to see my mother. And what did he do? When the mother came, he was behind the bars, and mother came and said, yes son, what would you like to tell me? He said, come closer. And what did he do? He bit off her ear, something of that sort. You must have heard the story. And she was crying in pain, and she said, why did you do that? Because you didn't chastise me as a child. You didn't say anything to me. You never corrected me. I have become what I have become today, completely a wrong person. So, this chastisement is important. Um, no one can correct themselves. No one, no matter how we have advanced with our intelligence, everyone requires chastisement at some point or the other, isn't it? No matter how elder or how grown up this son is, then you can see grandmothers chastising their sons, like our fathers would be, or our mothers would be chastised by their parents, isn't it? And they would humbly listen. They have that fear inbuilt in them, isn't it? That is required, because without that we would never be guided in the right way. And no matter in what sort of relationship, there is always a point, there is a weightage to the chastisement that we receive. And this chastisement that parents um, portray or give upon their children is not out of enmity or envy. No, it's out of duty and love, that my child should do the best thing, do the rightful, never make any mistakes. Um, and even if you consider it in another aspect, there will be the relationship of a guru and a disciple. There also chastisement is there. And that chastisement you consider as a blessing. It is so said that the guru, when you're ready to accept a guru, you should also be able to have the capacity to receive chastisement. And when the guru does that, you have to understand that he has seen in his disciple the capacity of being corrected. Because if someone doesn't have that quality of um, receiving chastisement or criticism, they don't have the capacity of accepting. What will they do? They will take it in the other sense of, oh, my teacher has, shouted at me. I don't think it's appropriate. The ego is built there. It's a wrong attitude towards. But in the spiritual life, if the guru is really uh, it has really taken the time to chastise you, that is an even more blessing than just plainly showering mercy in the form of love or heartfelt good appreciation. Chastisement is a bigger mercy. And the same way as in this same Leela, where Narad Muni has cursed the sons of Kubera, Nalakuvara, and Manigriva, that curse became a better boon, a better blessing than he would have just said, okay, please become devotees, you'll be fine now. No. Indirectly, that curse, though they had to suffer or be as trees, in the form of trees for years together, but ultimately what happened? It is the mercy of the devotee in the form of chastisement. Same way is when the Lord chastises us, gives us any position where we are suffering, or He teaches us a lesson, as we have seen in so many instances throughout the leelas of the Lord between amongst His devotees. The reciprocation is as such. Maybe He might be hitting them hard, but that definitely means He is showing a lot more mercy, and he is reprimanding them. He doesn't want even that small kalanka of a wrong ego or a wrong attitude. So immediately he tries to remove it and makes, though it may look like the devotee is going through something very tough, suffering, it is the Lord's mercy. This chastisement is such an important aspect of our development in spiritual life. So much so that even the Lord Himself, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has exhibited the same thing. If you look at the Leela, in the, which chapter is this? Seventh chapter. Prakashananda Saraswati and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is a dealing between them. Prakashananda Saraswati has tens and thousands of disciples, 10,000 plus disciple. They are of course Mayavadis at this point, and Mahaprabhu, in his most humble way, has an agenda of making them realize that all this Vedanta Sutra has the ultimate goal leading towards Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Marg. And the situation is as such what he was invited, but actually the agenda of these disciples of Prakashan Saraswati was to humiliate Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was warned of this. Still, he took up that chance and he went amidst those devotees. And where did he place himself? He placed himself outside the arena where these people were, these personalities were supposed to assemble, and he sat down there where people wash their feet, considerably a dirty spot, unclean spot. That is where Mahaprabhu sat. And he didn't talk to anyone, he didn't make any action, he didn't perform anything, just the action of sitting in such a place. This itself attracted Prakashan and Saraswati. And until that point, no one gave him a heed. Oh, this Chaitanya, uh, Chaitanya is someone, we don't have to bother about him. But when Mahaprabhu depicted this one action, everyone got attracted. And when Prakashan Saraswati went in, what did he ask? You are such a vibrant sannyasi, young age, so uh, beautiful, even in physical features, so tejasvi. Why are you running around, going about into the public, uh, dancing around doing this kirtan? Why can't you sit and study the Vedanta? Vedanta Sutra. And what did Mahaprabhu say? If you read Adi Leela chapter 7 verse 71, Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe, Mahaprabhu is replying, Shuna Shri Pada Ihara Karana Guru More Murkha Dekhi Karila Shasana. Prabhu kahe, Shuna Shri Pada Ihara Karana. This is the reason why I am doing this. Guru More Murkha Dekhi Karila Shasana. My Guru, seeing that I am a Murkha, I am a fool, understanding that I am a fool, Dekhi Karila Shasana. He chastised me. He shouted at me or chastised me, telling that I'm a fool. Uh, this is the reason that my spiritual master was shouting at me that I have no capacity to understand Vedanta Sutra, and hence he chastised me. You are a fool. The next verse says, Murkha tumi tomara nahika Vedanta dikhara. You are such a fool that you are not qualified to study Vedanta philosophy. Therefore, Krishna mantra japa sada ei mantra sara. Krishna mantra. Therefore, you must always chant the holy name of Krishna. This is the essence. Japa sada a mantra sara. This is the essence of all mantras. So all I'm doing is following the instructions of my guru. And the conversation, the way how beautifully, slowly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu captivates the minds and hearts of uh, Prakashan and Saraswati and his disciples. And from there, they understand that Vedanta Sutra is not all that technical. There is a whole another aspect, a bhakti aspect of Vedanta Sutra. Just by doing that one action and by saying that this is what my guru told me, I was chastised into telling that I have no capacity in me to understand Vedanta philosophy, so just chant Hare Krishna. This is the beginning of a very wonderful, in-depth conversation between Mahaprabhu and Prakashan. There also there was chastisement. How beautifully Mahaprabhu accepted that chastisement. And in case of Ajamila, where this is the example, Srila Prabhupada is giving that this is what Ajamala is telling. Yamaraja instructed. Finally, Yamaraja came forward and he said, "You fools!" He's telling his own dutas, "You don't capture any person who has chanted the holy names of the Lord." There is chastisement. And so they were instructed never until that point they would approach every soul that was ready to be removed from the body. But till then, until that point that was not happen. Until that point it was happening. From then it didn't happen. Anyone who chants the holy name, who has a tilak, who has a kantimala, the Yamadutas were asked to fear such persons or such souls. And which other examples we have? Jnanis and yogis and karmis and Vedantis, they have no chance of even approaching Krishna. Their ultimate destination would be the effulgence of the Lord, as Prabhupada says, but they have no chance to understand Krishna in such a on such a personal level. And even coming to that effulgence level, so-called merging into the effulgence of the Lord, that also they are unable to do. And even great demigods of like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma also, they worship on the Lord. They perform service towards the Lord, right? Still, It is very tough. They are, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, and the person who has received all the knowledge directly into his heart by hearing the flute of the Lord, that personality is also not coming anywhere close to what Yashodama's position is, right? She simply showed a stick just to create fear in him. And what did he do? It's like, understand, I fear you. I am scared of the stick in your hand. And his beautiful face. Imagine someone so beautiful that he's already blue in color. And then you have all this kajal, and this you can see only in India. No other babies around the world will have such dark lines of kajal around them that even by the time they are given a nice bath in the morning and done all this kajal makeup, if they cry even once for milk, that's it. All that, mascara is spread. And this is Krishna depicting the exact same thing, like any other child and mother. The same concept is happening here. There's no difference. But this we are talking about is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who doesn't give any chance even to greatest demigods to come near him or be able to approach him. Here this mother who has been in control of him, and he's afraid of the stick in her hand. That is where he is standing. How is this even possible, right? So shall we move on to the next shloka, and we will read the shloka. Excuse me, I'll just share the. Yes, we are reading Canto 10, Chapter 9, verse 12. I hope, yes, Mataji, I hope we can read the shloka together and word to word translation, then translation. Chitra Mataji, and there's someone else who has raised their hand. Okay, we have Mataji, Sindhu Mataji. I'm giving the chance to Divya Mataji to read the purport. So please repeat after me. Tyaktva yashtim sutam bhitam
यष्टिं सुतं भीतं
विज्ञायार्भक वत्सला
विज्ञायार्भकवत्सला
येष किल तं बद्धुम्
येष किल तं बद्धुं
दाम्ना तद् वीर्यकोविद
दाम्ना तद् वीर्यकोविदा.
Word to word translation, please repeat after me. Tyaktva, throwing away.
Tyaktva, throwing away.
Throwing away.
Yashtim, the stick in her hand.
Yashtim, the stick
Yashtim,
in her
the stick
hand.
in her hand.
Sutam, her son.
Sutam, her son.
Bhitam, considering her son's great fear.
Bhitam, considering her son's great fear.
Vijnaya, understanding.
Vijnaya,
Understanding.
Arbhaka Vatsala,
Arbhaka Vatsala,
Vatsala,
the most affectionate mother of Krishna.
the most
affectionate mother of Krishna.
Iyesha, desired.
Isha, desired.
Kila, indeed.
Kila, indeed.
Tam, Krishna.
Tam
Krishna.
Badhum, to bind.
Badhum, to bind.
Damna, with a rope.
Damna, with the rope.
A, tat, virya, kovida.
Tad virya kovida.
Without knowledge of the supreme and powerful personality of Godhead.
Without knowledge of the supremely powerful personality of Godhead.
Because of intense love for Krishna.
Because intense love for Krishna.
One second, I just have to back. Okay. I just wanted to clarify something. Okay. Chitra Subramanya Mataji, please read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
त्यक्त्वा यष्टिं सुतं भीतं विज्ञायार्भक वत्सला येष किल तं बद्धुं दाम्ना तद्वीर्यकोविदा. हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Yes. Would you like to read the translation?
Yeah, yes Mataji.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mother Yasoda was always overwhelmed by intense love for Krishna, not knowing who Krishna was or how powerful he was. Because of maternal affection for Krishna, she never even cared to know who he was. Therefore, when she saw that her son had become excessively afraid, she threw the stick away and desired to bind him so that he would not commit any further naughty activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Divya Mataji, I guess. Please continue with the purport.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mother
Jai.
Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna not in order to chastise him, but because she thought that the child was so restless that he might leave the house in fear. That would be another disturbance. Therefore, because of full affection, to stop Krishna from leaving the house, she wanted to bind him with a rope. Mother Yashoda wanted to impress upon Krishna that since he was afraid merely to see her sick, he should not perform such disturbing activities as breaking the container of yogurt and butter and distributing its contents to the monkeys. Mother Yashoda did not care to understand who Krishna was and how his power spreads everywhere. This is an example of pure love for Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. So there is this. Thank you. Thank you so much for all who have read today's shloka and the purport and the translation. So nice to hear from all of you. Uh, Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 31. Chapter 8 is the prayers of Queen Kunti. 31, in the 31st shloka, she says, Gopyadadaye आददे त्वयि कृतागसि दाम तावद् या ते दशाश्रु कलिलाञ्जन सम्भ्रमाक्षम् वक्त्रं निनीय भयभावनया स्थितस्य सा मां विमोहयति भीर अपि यद् बिभेति. This is someone who a mother of she's related to Krishna in one way, and her sons are so close to Krishna, yet she is someone who realizes that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what does she say in this shloka? See, Yashodama, my dear Krishna, Yashodama took up a rope to bind you, right? Because you committed an offense. And you, what is happening? Like the previous shloka was saying, you are perturbed eyes, you are so disturbed, you are so fearful that you are over flooded with tear, and your mascara, your kajal has like spread all over. You're so afraid, right? But you're afraid, which is okay. You're terrified. But fear personified is afraid of you. How is this even possible? Fear personified is afraid of you, but you're afraid of the stick in her hand. I am bewildered. I am bewildered. Ma'am vimohayati. Seeing the situation, and she knows all of this. So these leelas of the Lord were not just were spreading around the vicinity of Vraja. It was spreading around there because Krishna is there. Kunti Mata is present before Krishna, age-wise, and she hears of all this, right? And even after realizing, she is herself is telling, I don't understand how is this happening. Yes, but that is where Srila Prabhupada describes in the previous verse, that is the position of Srimati Yashoda Mata, because she is able to have a control, she is able to have an influence on the Lord. And see the purport where Devamrita Swami Maharaj says like this is the epitome of course Vatsalya Rasa, but that is what we have to learn from her, from Yashoda Mata, her dedication to serve the Lord, her beloved Son, with so much of attention. We were seeing the overview of the chapter where she sees that no one else is there, so she's personally taking up the job to make butter, and she's ready to feed the Lord. And then she sees that the milk is boiling and overflowing, so she's focusing on that. And when she sees all this mess that Krishna has done, she's like, this is the time I have to teach my son. Not that I don't love him, but as a boy he's growing up, he has to be the best of persons, best of any man should be, and hence this behavior will affect his future behavior, and he should not do all this. She follows the footsteps of the Lord, that the footstep marks made out of the butter and yogurt mixture, and sees that he has damaged certain things and destroyed more yogurt and milk and butter. So now she has to teach him a lesson. Just for teaching the lesson, she picks up a stick and runs behind him. What happens then? She sees that Krishna is in the attitude of her son is in the attitude of crying just by seeing a stick. This very scene is bewildering so many other great personalities, including Kunti Mata and Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, everyone. But what is Yashodama thinking? That the purport reveals. That is revealed by Srila Prabhupada, that it's not that she wanted to bind him in order to punish him. She just thought that if I shouted him so much, or if I shouted him so much, chastised him way too much, Krishna will think of leaving the house and going into the forest. And I am very sure this is something that, if not all of us as children, at least someone we know has done this, that they pick up something, pack two or few dresses into a polythene bag or something, and they say, I'm leaving the house because you people are shouting at me so much. This happens probably in every household. My sister has done this, and my mother still talks about this. But imagine the Lord thinking, that's what Mother Yashoda is thinking. My son might leave the house and go think because I'm shouting at him too much. So, and all that she wanted to impress is that if a stick in mother's hand means he has done something serious, he should not repeat such a mistake. Would not commit any further naughty activities. And did that stop him? No, he's the Lord. What is the Lord thinking on the other side? I am Parama Divyotam Purshan. I am full of opulences. My opulences are at the topmost. Who is anyone to bind me? I'm not going to let anyone bind me, isn't it? But what is happening? Krishna's own mercy, the Lord's kripa, is overpowering his, what is it called? His vibhuti. All his opulence is one side, and Lord's mercy on the other side. It overpowers where, in what situation? When the devotee's love is coming in front of him. Otherwise, the Lord is all powerful, it's self-explanatory. Every power he has established, everything that he portrays and projects is his power, his wisdom, his beauty, his prowess, everything, strength, everything he displays. But all of that is melted away, and his heart melts when the devotee's pure love comes in front of him, and then his mercy takes over. So this is the intention behind Yashodama, that she just didn't want her son to leave the house and cause any other disturbance, because that would be another problem, isn't it? Son gone missing, everyone running around frantically to find the boy. But she just wanted this. I don't want. He wants to. I want to teach him a lesson, so I'm going to bind you. Bind you with a rope, and bind with the rope. How much is this boy going to be in size? And his waist would be so tiny. How much rope would you even require to bind this boy? But how much rope did it take? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary of Srimad Bhagwatam says that it took around 150 feet of rope to bind this boy before he decided that okay, let me be bound by this uh, beloved mother of mine who is able to capture me only because of her love. She doesn't care who he is. She didn't even care to think. She's praying to Lord Vishnu only to protect the master of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, isn't it? Please protect my son from all the atrocious disturbances coming upon him. No one knows why. Uh, but what we can understand from this is we are never going to attain this position. We can take inspiration, we can learn how much attentive she was to in serving the Lord. We are never going to attain this position of the Lord. And Srimad Bhagavatam tells how Putana, she she was a vicious Rakshasi. But her intention was what? She wanted to serve. She had this one desire to serve the Lord in the Vatsalya rest, to feed the child, isn't it? And Krishna fulfilled that. And once she was killed, she received the form, the position of being a nurse in Golok Vrindavan. So she never attained to attain the position of being Krishna's mother, but in one way, mother. She could feed him, she could serve him as a mother because that bhav was there inside her, isn't it? So, power, Krishna's prowess and all falls second when it comes to the mercy that he has for his uh, devotee. So, there are two parts, we all know this. There are sometimes it is mentioned as 2 inches, sometimes it is mentioned as 2 finger apart, right? That was how much the rope fell short. So first rope is Swanishta and the second one is Bhakti or Bhakta Nishta, isn't it? One is the deep determination and intention of the commitment of the devotee, and the second one is Swanishta, the Lord's mercy, to be continuing or getting what the Lord, sorry, what the devotee wants. I would like to mute, I believe. Please forgive me. Give me 1 second. Okay. Where is this coming from? Hare Krishna. I don't know where this is coming from. Everyone is mute at this point. Please mute yourself if you can realize what's happening. Thank you. So here we are, one, she doesn't care what the Lord is. This is her son, and that's all matters to her. And in that, in the service of taking care of her son, Yashoda Mata was so determined. She was determined to teach her son a lesson. She was determined and committed that even if it becomes night, I'm going to make sure that my son is bound. And till that point, what was the Lord thinking? I am going to not be bound. I am the Lord of the Lords. I'm the master of everything. I'm not going to be bound. And I want to go play with my friends. So this and all I'm not going to let happen. But when he sees how much effort she's putting, he just melts. Said, okay, mother, you are my mother. And there is nothing that can stop me from being bound by your determination to bind me. And uh, everyone is astonished by this Leela, you know. So His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj says the goal of bhakti is to become so trusted by Krishna that Krishna agrees to uh, come under your control, not in the way that you can control the Lord. There's no one who can, that can ever happen. But it is to be able to commit himself and become a little subdued by your love. In that way, controlled by you. But we can only aspire. We can only aspire to be um, uh, servants of the servants of the servants of devotees who can do that. Yashoda Mata, Srimati Radharani, right? This is the goal. I'll repeat because this is called Bhritya Vashyata. Uh, The goal of bhakti is to become so trusted by Krishna that Krishna agrees to come under your control, your come subdued by your love. But we do not need to be controlling the love. And so much so that he thinks that I will give myself to this devotee, and that is such a rare occasion that happens only with the uh, highest of devotees. And to think that we can get to this point is we cannot get to these points. We can only be inspired, as I was saying, because these we can only be followers so that we may develop such a depth of love for Krishna, right? These devotees are Nitya Siddha Bhaktas. They are amshas of the Lord's Hladini potency. They are Nitya Leela parts of the Lord's Nitya Leela, like Yashodama, Nanda Baba. They are always in this mood, and they are in the epitome of this mood of serving the Lord in these different, um, uh, you know, moods of love. But we can only aspire. We can only aspire and take, follow their footsteps and think that someday I can feel something like this for the Lord, even if it's an amsha. That would be great. Because they are not thinking that this is devotional service. That is not their concept at all. No matter who else you pick up outside Vraja, they're all doing it as seva. They have that uh, understanding that this is devotional service. Not for Yashodama or Nanda Baba, right? Or for that matter, the devotees, the Vraja, the people of Vraja. And what else can I say? Uddhava was astonished. Even Lord Brahma says that my mind is boggled. This is coming in the 13th chapter. How is it that anyone could wish or desire for anything other than you, Krishna? How is it that anyone can desire for anything else but you, Krishna? I am astounded by the fact that there are living entities who desire something other than you. But that is all for today. I've taken extra 5 minutes. It's the we can only think, understand, and aspire, follow the determination that Yashoda Mata had in loving her child. For us, it's devotional service, but in loving her, and love requires commitment. Love is shown by commitment. Love requires determination, no matter what. And what is the last shloka of Sri Shikshashtakam? What is the last shloka of Shikshashtakam? Can anyone open the mic and tell?
Yes, Mataji.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
Yes,
Ashlishyava. आश्लिष्यवा पादरथां पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनां मर्महतां करोतवा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनादस्तु स एव नापरः. What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly. And by his embrace, or he makes sure that my heart is broken by not being present before me, even if he tramples me, even if he puts me through the worst of situations, he is my Lord. And for that, I wish only that remains, that I understand this and realize this, isn't it? That love that we can aspire to receive, and we must have. No matter to what position we can, it has to come, it will come. Yes, Mataji, thank you for quoting. Mat prananadhastu saeva na paraha. Krishna is my Lord, and nothing else will matter. So the goal of bhakti is to become so trusted by Krishna that he is ready to get subdued by love that the devotee has. And Krishna is demonstrating the power of pure love here. No one can bind him, no one can easily access him. Even the greatest of devotees have to go through so much to even get his darshan. And here, just out of love, he is being bound. And voluntarily, Krishna is coming under the control of Yashodama. And she is so attentive in her service that he is also reciprocating in the way by attentively listening to her, expressing in that way. This is very, very wonderful that no matter how much we listen, it's always relishable. And thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna. All glories to Yashodama. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is subdued by the pure love of Yashodama. All glories to Prakashan Saraswati who understands that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than the Lord Himself. And through that Leela we understand. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who demonstrates that chastisement is an important aspect of our spiritual journey. And all glories to Srila Prabhupada who so beautifully writes purports that we can understand from. We are ill-minded and uh, so dull that only his purports can save us. And all glories to the assembled devotees who, no matter what, desire to come in association and take the association of each other under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada and listen to the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। अभयचनारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। Hare Krishna. Any comments, any questions? Please go ahead. I'm sorry, I've taken altogether a few minutes more, but technically we started a little late. So please go ahead. We can spend 5 to 10 minutes in discussing and wind up after that. Thank you. Anyone has anything to say? We are just 4 days. Hare Krishna Mataji. We are just 4 days away from Damodar month, Kartik Mahina. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Would anyone like to say something? Questions? I guess that's it for today. Thank you all for joining. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for bearing with me. If there's anything that has inspired you, has made you feel happy listening to, that's all glories to my spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada and the purport of Srila Prabhupada which just explains everything. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for bearing with me. If there's anything that I've said wrong, please forgive me. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We shall wind up here.